first of all functionality we are having is categorization and discrimination. So what is meant by categorization is it is a summarization of general characteristics or features of target class of the data. That means what is data, what is there simply data categorization is, for example, if you are having some data, so from the data, you want to know some kind of properties. For example, see the example. You want to summarize the characteristics of customers who spend more than $5,000 a year at all. So for example, if you are having a database called as all ultra database, from that particular database, you want to derive a property that you want to find out the customers who are having more than who are spending more than 5,000 rupees per year in that particular shop. So this kind of property you want to know. So this is one character. Or you want to know that what kind of age group people are purchasing the product. This is one character. Or you want to purchase that the customers who are paying through credit card, or you want to know the customers is paying through debit card. Like that, for a particular data, you want to find out various characters. So the characters of the data we can find out by using a technique called as a data categorization. So basically data categorization nothing but generalization. So whatever the data you are having, on that data we can achieve the aggregation of generalized data. That kind of process is going to call it as a data categorization. So basically the output of categorization, so whatever we are going to achieve from the data categorization, that can be represented in different forms like pie charts, bar charts, curves, multidimensional data cube, multidimensional tables. So these are 5 formats where we can represent our data categorization. So what is simply data categorization is data categorization nothing but representation of the data in a summarized way. So one particular format for the data summarization. One is data discrimination. So what is data discrimination is, it is a comparison of general features. So what is meant by your comparison of general features? For example, if you are having two branches, CSE and EC, you want to compare that how many the past students in CSE with the past students with the EC. That is, two generalized characteristics are compared together with a property called as the data discrimination. So the output of representation of data discrimination is also in terms of rules called as discrimination rules. So here we generate a rules called as the discrimination rules. For discrimination rules, normally we use some measures like T weight and D weight. So those things I will discuss when in the third unit. So next to cross data mining functionality is mining frequent patterns, associations, and correlations. So what is meant by frequent patterns? For example, if you take a retail market database, in a retail market database, you find a frequent item set called as a milk and bread. What is the milk and bread? The customers are purchasing milk together with the bread. So this is one kind of frequent pattern we observe the database. Along with that, for example, some kind of sequences. For example, there is no relation actually, but the customer who's purchased the laptop is also purchased a display camera. The customer who's purchased display camera, he's also purchased the memory card. So this is called as the frequent subsequences. Next one is frequent substructures. So what is the frequent substructure? For example, if you're having a big social network analysis graph is there, so that particular social network graph, within that you want to find out the subtrees which are more frequently occurring in that particular metric. So this is also one kind of frequent pattern. So what is the advantage of this particular frequent pattern? It leads to the discovery of interesting associations and correlation within the data. What is interesting association is, you think that the products are basically they're not at all independent product, but some kind of association is there between these independent products, so that whether there exists a dependency or not, a dependency we can able to find out by using frequent pattern analysis. For that, we can use a technique called as the correlation. You can use a technique called as the correlation. So the correlation, what is the correlation? Is the correlation is nothing but a measure which calculates the dependency of the products. Okay, correlation is a measure which calculates the dependency of the products. So next one is this particular association analysis is represented in terms of a rules. The association analysis is represented in terms of rules. So what are the rules is, if you are having a property like this, the customer X is purchasing a computer, he is also purchasing software. The customer who is purchasing a computer is also purchasing a software. For that, we give some to the support and the confidence. We give to the measures called as the support is equal to 1% and confidence is equal to 50%. So what is the thing is, for example, see this particular rule also. Here I have the one association rule, like customer who's having age between 20 to 29 and is he having income 40,000 to 49,000, he's purchasing the laptop. So this kind of association rules are going to be very useful in terms of increasing the sales and business. Next topic is classification. So what is meant by next data mining construct is classification. What is classification is, it is the process of finding a model. It is a process of finding a model that describes and distinguishes the data classes or concepts. As simply that, for example, whatever the data you are having, we are going to classify the data into the sets. Like we are having the main database D is classified into different data sets like D1, D2, D3. So how we are databases is partition databases is based upon certain rules. So as the classification. So for this particular data classification, we can use the techniques like if then rules, or we're going to use decision trees, or we can use some mathematical formula, or we can also use in the neural networks. So, and also in this particular prediction, what is prediction is based upon the old data, we have to guess the new data. So for example, if you know the X value and Y value, and for the given X dash value, we are going to predict the new Y dash value. So normally X is implies the Y. The X values are going to decide the Y value. Now I know my X dash value, but it doesn't know Y dash. So by using a concept called as prediction, we are going to guess the what is the value of Y dash. So this particular techniques also we're going to discuss in this particular thing. So this is tree. So what are the if then rules? The if then rules are like this. Now what I will do is whatever the D I am having database, I will partition it into 4 sets: A, B, C. What is a D1 set is, the D1 set will contain the values where the age is youth and the income is high. This is D1. D2 is the age should be youth and also the income is low. And what is the C set is, it should be the person who what D3 is only middle age. It is not anything related to the income. And what is D4 is the persons who are having the age, the senior is what the main database is class data sets D1, D2, D3, D4 based upon the parameters like age and income. So this is one rules. Next, second model, whatever we done at the top, here also we done at the bottom by using decision trees. Here I'm class A, class B, class. Who are class A is persons who are having age, youth, and income is high, and one model. And second model is age, youth, income low, that is class B. And class C is what is the persons who are middle-aged and senior, I made them as a class A. Like this, we are able to class data into the set of partitions based on this tree. So this is a representation of data sets by using a tree called as a decision tree. So here each and every internal node will contain some attribute. So based upon the attribute values, we are going to classify the data set into set of data partitions. So next one is, here is neural network. So here I have taken two attributes like age and income. So based upon certain weight values, I'm going to the next level, F3, F4, F5, and after that, so these are internal nodes. And so these are internal nodes. Finally, I'm able to generate 3 output nodes. So though my F6 is representing class A, class B, class C. So whatever the values you given for F1, F2, finally they have traversed to F3, F4 functions, and finally they will reach F6, F7, F8, and so whatever they're in F6, it will become the class A, and whatever they're in F7, it will become class. So these are called as the neural network model. It's very popular nowadays in deep learning. We are using this particular neural network methodology for the purpose of classification of the data. So next topic is cluster analysis. So what is cluster analysis is within the data, if you want to find out the groups, for example, if you're having large for example, whatever the data you are having, the data you are plotted on the graphs. So on the so whatever the data you are having, that data were plotted in terms of graphs. Now, what I have done is based upon some particular measure, I have identified one group here and one group here. So another group. So like this, based upon the similarity, we are finding the groups. So this finding the groups with respect to similarity is called as the cluster analysis. Next one is outlier analysis. So what is outlier analysis? Now I have identified three groups. Now I have one point which falling into any of the groups. So this particular point which is not falling into any particular thing, it is called as the outlier. So outliers are basically the noise terms. So in terms of noise detection or anomaly means the transactions which are happen irregular. So whatever which is irregular or inconsistent, those are called as the outliers. So those kind of the things we are going to find out by using outlier analysis. So the next one is evaluation. The next data mining functionality is evaluation analysis. So what is evaluation analysis is we want to find out that how the data is going to behave with the change over the time. So with the time is changing, how the data is going to be changed. That kind of thing we want to find out. For that, we have to do a technique called as evaluation analysis. Internally, evaluation analysis also may use data categorization, data discrimination, data association, correlation and analysis, classification, prediction, so whatever data mining functionalities we have discussed until now, so those all kind of techniques we can use in terms of evaluation analysis. So by using evaluation analysis, we can derive such techniques like time series data analysis, sequence or periodicity pattern matching, similarity based data analysis. So these are the three applications we are going to done by using the evaluation analysis. Thank you very much, students. Now, students, are you able to understand whatever I discussed until now?
Yes.
Any doubts anyone is having? Any doubts anyone is having? No doubts. So am I clear? Everything is clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us proceed for the next topic. So next topic is classification of data mining systems. So what is meant by classification of data mining systems is, so if you want to classify, okay, data mining like category A, category B, but it is not possible. Why? Because data mining is a interdisciplinary field. Data mining is a interdisciplinary field. Here the so many subjects are involved. So the subjects like database systems, statistics, machine learning, visualization, and information science. So like that, various subjects are involved in this particular thing. And here, and also if you want different here we're going to process different kind of data, so like spatial data, or we're going to process images, signals, computer graphics, web technology, economics, business, bioinformatics, like that wide variety of areas of data we are going to access in the data. So that's why it is highly difficult to classify data mining systems. But it is possible for us to classify data mining systems according to four parameters. That is, we can able to classify according to the kind of databases mined, and second one is we can able to classify according to the kind of knowledge mined, and third one is we can able to classify according to kind of techniques utilized. And fourth one is we can able to classify based upon the kinds of applications adopted. So based upon the four parameters, that kinds of databases, kinds of knowledge, kinds of techniques, and application adopted, we can able to class data mining systems into four categories. So now, first of all, what is meant? We have to know what is meant by data mining task primitive. So what is data mining task is? It is specified in terms of a data mining query which input the data, which input data to the data mining, that is called a data mining system. So a data mining query is defined in terms of data mining task. So how we are going to define a data mining query? So what a data mining task is? If you whatever the task you are having, you specify in terms of a query. So what is a query? The query is defined in terms of the task primitives. So these primitives allows the user to interactively communicate with data mining system for discovery of the data by using the mining process, and to find out the interesting and different angles or depth of the data that is possible with the help of the data. So data mining query is going to find out the new findings. So whatever, it is not like invention, it is already existed, but we doesn't know those kind of things are going to be find out by using the data mining query. So basically, the data mining task primitives, we are having five data. So that whatever data mining query is there, the data mining queries represent terms of data mining primitives. We have five primitives are there. What are the five primitives we are having is, the first one is the set of task relevant data to be mined, and second one is the kind of knowledge to be mined, and the third one is the background knowledge, and the fourth one is the interesting measures, and fifth one is representation of the visualized discovered patterns. So first one, what is meant by task-driven data? Whatever the data is there database, it is not suitable for the our required analysis. So for that, we require some portion of the data in the database or data warehouse, which is suitable for answer my query. So that data is going to call it as a task-relevant data. Next one is kind of knowledge. So depending upon the data mining query given, we have to find that what kind of data mining function we need to apply here. So for example, whether we need to apply categorization, or we need to apply discrimination, or we're going to apply association, or we're going to apply correlation analysis, or we're going to apply classification, prediction, or cluster analysis, or outlier analysis, evaluation analysis. So what kind of a data mining functionality we are going to apply, adapt at this particular situation for solving the query. So that is called the kind of knowledge to be mined. Next one is background knowledge. So what is background knowledge is, sometimes the user may ask you data to be mined at different levels of abstraction. So for example, in a database, we are having the data only in terms of day-to-day transaction. For example, the customer is asked that what is the weekly sales, or monthly sales, or quarter sales, or year sales. Then for that, we need some kind of background knowledge. So the background knowledge is provided by the concept hierarchy. So what is concept hierarchies? In last class we have discussed. So for example, what is concept hierarchy is, we have a hierarchy like this. The day can have a hierarchy called as the week. We can have a hierarchy called as the month. And a month can have a hierarchy like a year. No. For example, if the user is asked data at the month level, then we will upgrade, or we will go for the generalization of day level data to the week level. If the user is asked for month level, again we generalize the week level data to the month. For example, if you are having your database in terms of a month, if the customer is asked in terms of weeks, then again we go for the specialization data. Again we traverse a month to the week. So by performing aggregation and specialization operations, we are able to provide different levels of abstraction of the data. So it is very required. Why? Because the customers to take a decision, for example, the manager wants to know that what is the current year sales, then automatically of this current year, then automatically we have only transactions at the day-to-day transaction. So all the day-to-day transactions need to be calculated. The sum is calculated, and finally we need to, this is the sales for this particular current year. So for that we need the background knowledge. And also next one is methods. So what is the methods is, after applying these data mining functions and applying this background knowledge, we get some kind of patterns, but all the patterns are not at all interesting patterns. So to find out interesting patterns, to discover them, we are going to apply on the patterns, we're going to apply the measures like certainty, utility, novelty. We will check the four things, whether it should be simple, it should be certain, it should be utility, to have some utility, and should have some kind of novelty. Then only we can tell that that particular pattern is going to be interesting pattern. And next one is, whatever the patterns were discovered, those patterns we need to represent. So we have some data, for example, 100 rows of data were finally gathered, but the user cannot able to see these 100. So if you represent in terms of good pie chart or bar chart or report or tables, decision tree or cubes, so then only it is very easy for the customer or